The first mistake that people make is they don't use a floater for their ultrasonic fogger. This means something that sets on top of the water that's going to house the ultrasonic fogger and just allow the right amount of space on top of the fogger for its optimal performance. Now, if you get one of these cheap ones that you can get for like Halloween decorations, they're really made to be set in a very small amount of water. Maybe an inch of water above them would be for the optimal performance, but that water is going to turn into fog and it's going to evaporate very quickly. It's also going to cause a lot of heat, which we'll talk about a little bit later. So using a floater is essential. In fact, I'll just say it right now. If you haven't already bought your fogger, pick one of these up. This kit comes with your fogger, it comes with a floater, and it comes with 3 ceramic plates. It's definitely worth the money. If you don't have a floater, then you're only going to be able to have a very small amount of water in your reservoir, which might be fine for a cloner, but really not great for any other application. Because the way the ultrasonic fogger works is the ceramic plate is vibrating at such a high frequency that it causes the water above it to separate molecularly and turn into a very, very small droplet size of about 5 microns. And that then turns into fog. So the cool thing about a floater is you can have something like a 5-gallon bucket, you can fill it up with 3 gallons of water and allow the fogger to just float on the surface of the water, and that will drop down as the water level dissipates as well. So the second mistake that people make is running their fogger for too long. So this is really a two-parter right here, and the first part has to do with heat. Now, the vibrations of the ultrasonic fogger actually cause ultrasonic friction, and friction causes heat. So if you leave your fogger on all the time or for too long, then it's going to heat your water up. And if you're a hydroponic gardener, then you know that water above 85 degrees will likely cause a lot of issues for you, mostly root rot, and we really don't want that. So the second reason has to do with that 5 micron droplet size. It's very, very small. In fact, if you were to walk through a cloud of this fog, you wouldn't be able to breathe because all those droplets of water are taking up all of the available space and not allowing much free oxygen to flow in that area. So for lack of a better term, you're kind of suffocating your roots in the fog and not allowing enough oxygen to get to the roots. I recommend about 15 to 30 minute runtime per hour, depending on the size of your reservoir, the size of the space that you're trying to fill with fog. Like if you're doing a larger garden, then you could probably run it for a half an hour, 50% on, 50% off, and that'll get your roots wet enough without choking them out. If you have a very small reservoir, then obviously the heat is going to become an issue too, but more importantly, your plants aren't going to get the oxygen they need. So I recommend experimenting with run times, see what works best for your garden, but if you run them full time, then you'll likely run into a lot of issues, as I have. Number 3, over-concentrating the nutrients. So if you have too many nutrients in your garden, then they will start to build up on the ceramic plate, and then the ceramic plate gets heavy, relatively heavy, and it doesn't vibrate at the proper frequency to cause the fog the way that we really want it to be. Basically, if you just have too many nutrients in there, your fogger's not going to work well, and chances are it's going to either overheat, the AC adapter might go out, or the ceramic plate will just stop working and you'll have to replace that much quicker if you put too many nutrients in. I recommend going no higher than 800 parts per million, and this can even be too high for some nutrients depending on their water solubility and how easily they dissolve. But 800 ppms has worked for me and most of my gardens. I haven't run into too many issues with that. And if you also crank them up too high, or if you have a nutrient solution that's a little more potent, it can actually eat away at the metal in the fogger itself, and then that metal becomes part of your nutrient solution and then goes into your plants, and you really don't want to be eating metal. Number 4, if you're not prepared for the fogger to fail. Like I said before, these ceramic plates are quite delicate, and if you don't have a fogger that you can change the plate out on easily, or have extra plates with you that are the right size, then your garden is going to fail. It's going to die and your plants aren't going to make it. You have to be prepared at any given time for that fogger to stop working, and you need to know how to change it, and you have to have the plates on hand. That's another reason that I recommend this kit. It comes with 4 plates in total. It comes with a tool to change the plates out. It's super easy, super fast. You can do it in about 30 seconds once you figure it all out. And that's really important in a garden where you have such a small droplet size and the roots aren't getting saturated. They're just getting enough water to have those beautiful hairy aeroponic roots grow. If you deny them of that water for even an hour or two, then they can start to dry out and they get crispy and they get brown on the end and they start to die. So making sure you're prepared for your fogger to stop working is actually pretty crucial to keeping a Fogponic garden going. Number 5, Buying an expensive multi-plate fogger. Don't do that. Here's why. So when you're looking for your fogger, you might see these really fancy, kind of more expensive, very powerful foggers that have like 6 or more little ceramic discs on them. If something like the AC adapter goes out on one of these, then everything stops. And you're not getting any fog from your plants. However, if you have like 6 individual foggers and 1 or 2 of them go out, then you still have several foggers to kind of pick up the slack, and your plants aren't going to die if 1 or 2 of the foggers goes out. Now, with these big ones, obviously, if your fogger goes out, you're screwed. Your plants are going to die, you're not going to have fog in your tank, and everything's going to dry out. So, just as a fail-safe, I would recommend not using these multi-plate, more expensive foggers, especially if you're concentrating your nutrients all the way up to 800 parts per million, because then the plates start to get heavier and heavier as they build up these nutrient salts, and it's more likely that something else other than the ceramic plates, like the actual mechanism itself or the AC adapter, will burn out, and then everything's just going to stop. So just pick up a bunch of these, have a few on hand, and with that you're going to have a bunch of extra ceramic discs too. And this is a very quick video, straight to the point. I hope it was helpful, useful information for you. Let me know in the description box below if you have any questions or comments, and let's keep growing together.